That was the best doing nothing in the history of shows that have done nothing. Welcome to Voice of the Fat Mantis as I discuss episode 5 of ANDOR, only on Disney+. This is a Star Wars show that I can't seem to love enough. I just can't get enough of it. I wouldn't say that I've had enough of this particular episode, but I would agree, as all the haters would point out, that nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened in this episode. You got a little bit of character development. He bonded with his staff and his crew, and they're doing a snail pace ride to the idea that our buddy Harn is going to be eventually working with the evil Imperial Security Bureau chick. And they kind of just took their time on that. And clearly the mom is cashing in favors. Things are happening. We're going to get around to all these other details. But first, I'm going to need you to like, share, and subscribe to Voice of the Fat Mantis so we can keep breaking down all sorts of all Star Wars content and more. So there was that with the whole Karn situation. And there was a few drops with Andor himself hanging out. Now, I speculate on this. And I know it sounds stupid, but I'm speculating that it is possible that this is just a boring episode because next episode is going to be a wild thrill ride that's going to be hard to forget. This heist is going to go down next episode. And like I told you, I believe that every 3 episodes, they will change the format of the show. They'll mix it up. After he does his heist, maybe he'll leave the planet. He'll be on some sort of run. But episode 6 will be the finale of this little rebellion group that he's with. And honestly, they're going to be stealing the Imperial payroll. They're going to be disguising themselves as Imperials. He may have issues with other members of his unit. And of course, there's going to be that weird star sky phenomenon that we heard so much about, which I can't wait to see the special effects of. I love all the weird space stuff that goes on. And it was all set up. They set everything up, and I can understand people's complaints. To date, this is the shortest episode of Star Wars Andor. It wasn't great. There's not much to be excited for. The episode ended before it really began, and you got really nothing out of it. There is a lot of fun nothingness. As in, like, there's a great scene where a young man is talking about this old tech, and they're talking about a navigation system and how it's ancient and old, and it's pre-imperial, and then it's better. And I like the way every scene rolls out. I wish somebody was blasted or something. Or, for instance, Mon Mothma. She literally did nothing this episode. She scolded her daughter. She's being driven somewhere. I don't really know what's going on. And so even though I'm going to forgive this crappily produced episode because I know good things are on the way, and I already feel like I've seen some amazing good things already. But I would say that this was a badly constructed episode, that at the end of every episode in a drama, you want to end on a note that's going to make somebody have to turn on the next episode, which they did not even bother to do. There needs to be shocking, and there needs to be a justification for an episode. Having an episode just be filler is not an appropriate way to construct a show. They wouldn't do it on network television, so you shouldn't do it on appointment television such as Disney+. So I am a little disappointed, particularly the fact that this series is 12 episodes a season, which is vastly bigger than all the other shows. You'd think that they actually have something to show you. When I heard that, I was like, this could either be the worst thing in the world or the greatest thing in the world. I'm not really sure. And what it is I hope that this doesn't become a She-Hulk situation. The first couple of episodes of She-Hulks, you could at least justify what was going on there because they're setting everything up. You're meeting her, you're seeing an origin. But at a certain point, the episodes had nothing to do with anything. They certainly had nothing to do with being entertaining, because they weren't. And I really hope that this isn't the thing. However, the way this episode ends, Andor and his entire crew are set up to do the heist. This is a hard review to get through because there's really nothing to analyze. And so I'm going to reference a little something that I got from my man Matt Cat. He had brought up on his channel Geek What, please check him out and subscribe, that in the comic books, Mon Mothma actually had a son who ends up being a rebellious force, but they seem to either retcon him or just don't have him appear in this episode. Who knows? Maybe he's off at finishing school. And I'm not going to discuss what you're going to see on Matt Cat's YouTube channel. What I wanted to discuss is what they do with canon, and I think this is further proof that the comic books are the least form of canon. How often You sit across from a Star Wars fan and they go, yo, I saw this thing where Darth Vader went on this planet and he found some dark voodoo and he talked to Padme and he discovered that the Emperor was her real killer, even though it was never seen on any live action or cartoon adjustment everywhere. And they went to another universe and they accessed time travel, and you just hear all this ridiculous, sometimes cool, others sometimes just like silly stuff. And people are like, I'm like, where did you hear this? Like, it was in a comic. I know I'm gonna get crucified for this one, but Star Wars comic books are never canon. Even when the producers of it say that, they hire writers that have nothing to do with greater Star Wars or in there, and they will retcon or remove things whenever, at a whim, because they don't care about the comic books. An example of this is J.J. Abrams took Poe Dameron, who in the comics they said that he was a wealthy kid from a Republic naval family, and then they sided with the rebellion and he went to a naval academy and he's a prestigious dude. And all it took was JJ and his bigotry to say, nah, he's Spanish, the dude must be a drug dealer. Boom! Destroyed nerddom everywhere. Nerds everywhere lost their collective minds. And I just want to point out, I'm sorry that, to everyone who invested in these comics, because it kind of shows the belittlement that Lucasfilm has for the other medias they use for this story. I think that it's the live action, then it's the cartoon, then it's the novels, and then at the very end it's comic books. And as they see fit, they will chop it all down. They will chop it all. They'll destroy everything at a whim. And that just kind of shows the disrespect of the people creating Star Wars. And if they really did retcon and destroy the idea that she has a son, I think that is disgusting. That really does disgust me. And think about everyone who bought or read or enjoyed that story and now gets thrown in the garbage. For what? I don't know. People not paying attention when they're creating a Star Wars show. Now, I am going to defend this show in general. I think it's high quality and I think it's done well. And so we're going to get into some predictions for Andor, because there's really nothing else to talk about. So, First prediction, Lucius is Lor Santeca. I think he actually is. Now, in the first episode that he's seen in, I believe that's episode 3, he actually has what looks like a walking stick when he's walking on uneven dirt ground. And then when he enters the city, he lifts it up in a different way, in the way someone wouldn't hold a cane. And it's this long metal, and it looks pointy on the end, and you realize it has a handle, and later on when he's walking into a safer part of the neighborhood, he retracts it the way a lightsaber might. It was clearly that he was holding it like a weapon, like it was like, don't come at me, dog, to try to be as menacing as an old man is. Now, we've never seen Lord Santeca do that, or Lord Santeca do anything, because he was killed before we knew anything about him, other than the fact that he was Alderaanian. However, we do know that he is a member of the Church of the Force. And they're the only other member in live action of the Church of the Force, or 2 members, should I say, are from Rogue One. And they were an order of monks and warriors, martial artists. And I'm wondering if Lor Santeca, when he was younger, was maybe obviously not as skilled as Donnie Yen, but maybe an order like that, and then he too is good with melee weapons and he practices this force chant and stuff like that. I think it's a very close possibility. I can't wait to find out more about his character. And as I've said it before, and I'll say it again, Lieutenant Miro, the woman who is hunting him, I actually do believe is his sister. I do not believe his sister is a prostitute, as he speculated. I think she did leave that planet. I think we're going to get more flashbacks to Kenari, and we're going to find out where his sister went and what she's doing in the galaxy. Now that people can't live on that planet, it's going to turn out that she joined the Empire, and that's going to be her, and I can't wait for that to happen. And I think we all know that Karn and her are going to be working together. I think I said it earlier in this thing, and I think it's clear that it's going to happen. What is happening with Mon Mothma? I don't know. That seems like a road literally to nowhere. I don't know how they can make her cool or what they're going to do with her story. I am hoping that she meets up with other Imperial senators, maybe Bail Organa. Maybe we're going to get some of that kind of stuff. but I just don't see what intrigue she's working on. If they wanted to start pulling at the threads of political intrigue, this was the episode to do it. They should have packed in a bunch of Mon Mothma moments, and they really haven't. And all we know is she's going to a dinner party, and her husband really annoys her. Like, they're headed for a divorce. That's pretty clear. And so that's all the predictions that I have for today because, well, let's be real, this episode gave us nothing to work with. But what are your thoughts? Do you have any predictions? Are you hanging in there in hopes that Andor improves or becomes the show that the trailers make it look like? Because I keep watching that trailer. We're going to see some crazy stuff. Please let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Voice of the Fat Mantis for more Star Wars, Andor, and other updates, interviews, and discussions, and of course, theory crafting. Till next time, ciao. For now. This is not the Disney Plus show you're looking for.